The newest Smash Bros. Fighter has arrived. Little Mac from Punch-Out is on the scene and he's already proving to be a unique fighter. But just how unique is he? Well, that's what the old analysis machine is for. So let's see what secrets and hidden details we can find in the Puny Pugilist premiere trailer. Of course, be sure to watch our previous analyses or listen to our weekly Smash discussions, as we'll be skipping details already covered there. This is all about Little Mac. And the little guy is staying true to his name because he's, well, little. He only comes up to Samus's chest, and thanks to this picture, we can see that he's barely taller than either Pikachu or Olimar. But if the Punch-Out games have shown anything, it's that size doesn't matter, and that's already apparent in the trailer. The thing that immediately stands out about Mac is just how quick he is. We see him dash toward Dedede and quickly cover more ground. Not only that, but he uses a ground dodge to slip behind Dedede and hit him with a few standard attacks. But as Dedede winds up his hammer, Mac dodges behind him again before unleashing a flurry of punches. Just based on these few screens, it appears that Mac could be one of the fastest characters in the game, at least when on the ground. But it's his moveset that has us the most intrigued. As he's dashing toward the arena, he jumps into the ring and performs a kind of aerial attack. It's hard to say whether this is his standard or downward aerial maneuver, though the downward angle could mean that it's a meteor smash. What's strange though is that he uses the same form when fighting Mega Man later. The difference is that it doesn't look to be part of his jumping animation. Instead, he leaps forward and is able to fully bypass Mega Man's fully charged Buster Shot and deck the Blue Bomber. Little Mac's animation is almost identical, but the circumstances are completely different. Could this leaping punch actually be his forward special? There's actually another example of this in the trailer. When Mac is dashing toward Mario, he has near perfect timing. His quick speed and short stature actually allow him to just run under Mario's fireballs without even dodging. As he reaches Mario, he performs the exact same downward punch. But the attack lines are different, meaning that this same punching form can be used in alternate ways. In this case, a running attack. Of course, that's not the only way Little Mac can attack his opponents. He also has a rapid fire punch, though we're not sure if this is a natural combo or one of his specials. We think that it could work just like Fox's rapid kicks or Captain Falcon's punches, especially since Mac is able to smoothly go from those punches to an uppercut without delay. That uppercut is likely his up attack too, since we see him use a smash version of it against Samus later. The trailer shows off even more moves, including Mac's grab, which we only see him using in order to perform a few more punches on Marth. There's still no indication on how good his actual throws will be. His forward smash looks to be a straight punch, though we believe his standard special is a charged punch. Unlike Samus's charge beam or Donkey Kong's wind-up punch, it doesn't look like Mac can store it for later use. He can decide when to release it though, as we can see that it's not nearly as powered up when he hits Bowser compared to when he hits Pit and the Villager. This makes it most similar to Marth's Shield Breaker attack. Mac's down special is likely the counter move we see in the trailer. It's a perfect send-up to how he fights in the Punch-Out games, though the timing seems to be extremely tight. Slowing down the footage shows that there's actually a heartbeat monitor that pops up as he's performing the move. That seems to be the sweet spot. If you time it right, the counter looks to be quite powerful. The same can't be said about his up special, which takes the form of a vertical spin punch. While it looks to be a good option for juggling opponents, its recovery use seems to be tricky since there's no horizontal momentum. Will he be able to use some of his other specials for that horizontal motion? Finally, we even get to see his final smash, Giga Mac. This form only ever appeared in Punch-Out Wii's multiplayer mode and provided a player a power boost when using it. That's probably the same here, as all of his attacks will likely be supercharged for a short time. However, it looks like there's a downside because the few moments we see him run, he seems notably slower. Opponents could likely dodge out of the way if need be and stay out of reach. Of course, if Mac does knock someone out, he can perform a taunt, the first of which is seen here. Though that may be all the moves we see Mac use in the trailer, it doesn't mean he's out of tricks. Uniquely, Little Mac has a power meter. As he fights, it builds up until it reaches a KO status. When that happens, his standard special becomes a one-hit knockout uppercut. What wasn't immediately clear is how that works though. When the feature is being showcased, Mac is charging up a punch but releases it before the meter charges in any significant way. So charging the punch doesn't increase the meter, but neither does him receiving damage. The camera shifts away from the action as it charges, but we do see that Mac's damage percentage doesn't rise. That means that the meter doesn't work in the same way as Lucario's aura ability. Instead, the power meter is a reference to Super Punch-Out. In that game, the power meter would fill up by hitting opponents. If you took damage, then the meter would decrease. Once it was filled, a knockout punch could be used. The power meter here will probably work exactly the same. Mac took no damage as the meter filled up, but when the camera pans out again, you can see that Bowser's percentage has increased from 52% to 231% in the intervening time. That's a huge leap in such a small amount of time. So could that mean that Mac's normal attacks are powered up the higher his power meter is? And the knockout uppercut is especially impressive in that it looks like Mac catches Mega Man with the punch while he's dodging. In any case, while the one-hit knockout punch is incredibly devastating, it looks like players will have to be quite skilled to gain access to it since most of his moves require him to get in close. But Little Mac seems to have one more trick up his non-existent sleeve. He doesn't flinch from smaller attacks. Multiple times his attack animations continue even after being hit by another attack, including Samus's Flames, Bowser's Side Attack, the Villager's Gyroid, and even Link's Spin Attack. Just how high is his priority? Or could this actually be an ability of his? We think it's the latter since even Doc Lewis mentions it while Mac is shrugging off attacks. And that's not all that Doc Lewis says. He actually seems to point out several different strengths and weaknesses of Little Mac. Some are simple like his 1-2 shout when Mac punches, or hit him baby straight when Mac uses his powered up straight punch. But then there's his don't flinch line to Mac, and most interesting of all, you ain't no air fighter Mac, as he completely misses the Wii Fit trainer. It's pretty easy to see that Mac's strength is going to be focused on the ground. But what about Doc Lewis? He was always coaching Little Mac in the games and even in this trailer. Could he actually appear in the game as a special taunt similar to the ones for Fox and Snake? Maybe he'll give Mac between round tips like in the Punch-Out games. Okay, we're almost done here, but there are still a few small touches that are worth pointing out. For one, we were right in our prediction that the boxing ring stage could mean an appearance by Little Mac, but Sakurai was very clever in hiding it in plain sight. Now that Mac is confirmed, the arena has seen a couple changes, such as the upper sign showing Punch-Out instead of Smash Brothers, and the ring being represented by the WVBA, or World Video Boxing Association. Even the insignia in the middle of the ring has changed from the Smash Brothers logo to the one for the WVBA Championship. Secondly, the cutscene shows off a Punch-Out arcade cabinet that looks almost identical to the original. Then there are the posters in the background while Mac's training. Most are hard to make out, but starting from the left, the first poster looks to advertise a match between Little Mac and Von Kaiser. The next features King Hippo. The one to the right of that is the hardest to make out, but could be Mac standing over a fallen opponent, and the one on the far right looks to be a fight promotion between Mac and Mr. Sandman. So this Little Mac is obviously no rookie, and that's evident from the champion's belt he has hanging on the wall. And it looks like Mac's not only getting some training help from Doc Lewis, but also Sandbag from the home run contest. It's the first we've seen of him in these new games, so could this mean that the home run contest is returning? And could Sandbag return as an item like in Brawl? We're almost positive that this means that he's back in his original role. Of course, once Mac and Doc take a break, we also see Samus roll by in her Morph Ball form. It's a humorous touch since she looks like a medicine ball. And with that, we've covered all the secrets and details that we could find in Little Mac's reveal trailer. He looks to be a completely different fighter that favors speed, close range fighting, and a greater focus on not getting hit. Of course, be sure to let us know if we missed anything in the comments. If you liked this video, be sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at GameXplain. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more on Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS and other things gaming too.